But all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the clouds broke open and this bright ray of sunlight came shining down. It looked like a postcard. It was so beautiful, the sun shining through the trees, the ground was glistening. I sat there and took it all in. It was such a welcome sight. I could feel my spirits lifting. And in a few minutes, as I watched, all the clouds dissipated. They didn't blow away, they just went away like fog burning. But true faith is always in the present. God is called the great I am, not the great I will be. He wants to show you His goodness, His favor, His mercy today. And if this is going to happen, you can't just have faith for the future. You have to believe today is my day. This could be the day my health improves. This could be the day I get the phone call I've been waiting for. This could be the day my child comes back home. There has to be an expectancy that something good is going to happen. Not next week, not next year, not in the sweet by and by. No, today I could be promoted. Today I could break this addiction. Today I could get a contract on the house I've been trying to sell. Today I could meet the person of my dreams. You don't know, it could happen before you leave this auditorium. Quit looking around. When we get up in the morning, we should make the declaration, something good is going to happen to me today. You need to set the tone at the start of the day. You may have been dealing with the problem for 20 years. Your attitude should be, today I'm expecting it to turn around. Today I'm expecting good breaks to chase me down. Today I'm expecting to see God's goodness. When you have this expectancy, this now faith, then God will do things suddenly. Suddenly you get the break you need. Suddenly you feel better. Suddenly your marriage is restored. God has some suddenlies in store for you. And 2 Corinthians 6 says, now is the time for God's favor. God wants to do something amazing in your life now. And some of you believe that God's going to do something good one day. You got big dreams. You know one day you'll meet the right person. One day you'll get that break. And that's fine. But I'm asking you to get out of a one-day mentality and come over to a today mentality. If God can do it one day, He can do it today. If He can do it in the future, He could just as easily do it now. And I realize there's a perfect timing. God knows when it's best for us. But what if the reason it's not happening is because we're not releasing our faith for today? When you have this attitude, today is my day. God, I believe right now you're at work in my life. Right now you're lining up the right people. Right now you're making my crooked places straight. Right now you're fighting my battles for me. When you have this right now faith, this today is my day faith, that's when you'll see not the great I will be, but the great I am show up and do amazing things. That's when you'll see suddenlies in your own. That's what a young couple did that I know. They were trying to have a baby for many years with no success. And they went through all the fertility treatments, still nothing. Instead of getting discouraged, they got up every morning and said, Father, thank you. Today could be the day we conceive a child. Today could be the day you bless us with a baby. Month after month went by. They didn't see anything changing. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. They just kept saying, Lord, send healing now. Send that baby now. Send favor now. Living with expectancy. Now faith. 5 years later, after being told they couldn't have a baby, they brought their beautiful baby daughter for us to dedicate right here. They were so excited about it. But I wonder what would have happened if they had thought, well, just our luck, just not meant to be. No, they had this attitude, today is our day. Nothing happened the first month. Didn't matter. Today is our day. Nothing happened the first year. They didn't get discouraged, didn't change their mind. Today is our day. Those 5 years, it didn't look like anything was happening. But the truth is, God was working behind the scenes. Eventually, they came into their suddenly. It's easy to get discouraged. Think, well, my marriage is never going to improve. It's been this way too long. I'll never get out of debt. I'll never be well. No, God is a God of the suddenlies. One touch of His favor and it suddenly turns around. You suddenly get the break you need. You suddenly feel better. You suddenly meet the right person. You may not see anything happening, but that doesn't mean that God is not working. As long as you believe, as long as you know today is my day, behind the scenes, God is at work getting it all lined up. A few months ago, it had been cloudy in Houston for a long time. Gray, gloomy, overcast. Every morning when I woke up, I thought, surely it's going to be sunny today. I looked outside eagerly, but nothing had changed. I watched the weather reports on the news, but as far out as they predicted, it was all cloudy. Checked the 10-day report on my phone. Nothing had changed. No end in sight. It had been that way so long, people started asking the question, when are we ever going to see the sun again? And sometimes it can be that way in life. It's cloudy in our health, cloudy in our finances, cloudy in a relationship. Day after day goes by, it doesn't look like it's ever going to change. A gentleman told recently how he struggled with an addiction since high school. Those dark clouds rolled in. Now 30 years later, he's still dealing with it, hasn't seen the sun. And when it's been dark for a long time, it's easy to get discouraged and think that it's never going to change. But one morning, I was in my office looking out the window. It was another gray, gloomy day, like it had been again and again. But all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the clouds broke open and this bright ray of sunlight came shining down. It looked like a postcard. It was so beautiful, the sun shining through the trees, the ground was glistening. I sat there and took it all in. It was such a welcome sight. I could feel my spirits lifting. And in a few minutes, as I watched, all the clouds dissipated. They didn't blow away, they just went away, like fog burning off. I heard these two words in my spirit, unexpected sunshine. Maybe it's been cloudy in your life for a long time. Those clouds of loneliness don't look like they'll ever leave. You don't think you'd ever meet the right person. But can I tell you, God has unexpected sunshine. He's already lined up the person of your dreams. Just a matter of time before those clouds open. Instead of being discouraged by the dark clouds, our attitude should be, any moment this can change. Healing is coming. Promotion is coming. The right person is coming. Breakthroughs are coming. If you want to see the clouds open up, you have to have this expectancy. Shake off the negativity. Quit talking about what's not working out. Turn it around. God, I know you're in control of these clouds. They didn't come to stay, they came to pass. I believe at any moment I'm going to see that unexpected sunshine. A friend of mine had a supervisor at work that was very condescending and hard to get along with. Nobody liked the man. This supervisor had been a constant source of frustration year after year. He was a young man. He could have easily been there for another 20 or 30 years. And my friend had a good attitude. He was determined to be his best right where he was. But in the back of his mind, he thought, this is going to be a pain to have to put up with this man the rest of my life. One morning, he came to work. Everything seemed like normal. But the management called a special staff meeting. And they told how this supervisor's wife had been transferred to another state. And just without any warning, he resigned and was no longer with the company. Half of the staff fell down on their knees, began to thank God. What was that? Unexpected sunshine. He didn't see it coming. The forecast was cloudy. All the reports said this problem is permanent, but God controls the universe. He knows how to suddenly change things. He can suddenly move the wrong people out. He can suddenly open doors you never dreamed would open. That's why you can't just go by what you see. What you see is temporary. Like those weather forecasts, it may tell you it's going to be the same month after month, year after year, gloomy, depressing. It's never going to change. In the natural, that may be true. But the good news is we serve a supernatural God. On your own, you may be stuck, but you're not on your own. The creator of the universe, the God who spoke worlds into existence, has you in the palm of his hand. He's directing your steps. He controls. A gentleman that's attended Lakewood for many years had a major stroke. He was told by the medical professionals that he would probably never be able to walk or talk again. And even if he did relearn how to do it, it would take years of rehabilitation. It looked cloudy. The forecast was very depressing. But this man understood this principle that God has unexpected sunshine. He didn't sit around in self-pity. He knew he was a victor, not a victim. He went to therapy every day and he amazed the therapist. They had never seen anyone like him. 16 months after he had the stroke, he came back to Lakewood for the first time. He came back not in a wheelchair, not on a walker. He walked in on his own 2 feet. He was told that he would never be able to lift this left arm. But when I saw him in the lobby and our eyes met, he lifted that arm, both arms raised in the air, raised in victory. I'll never forget that image. He wasn't disabled. He wasn't limping. What should have taken years, God made happen in a fraction of a time. Unexpected sunshine. The scripture puts it this way: when darkness overtakes the righteous, light will come bursting in. Doesn't say it'll trickle in, barely get there, hopefully make it one day. No, suddenly, unexpectedly, it will come bursting in. That means it wasn't on the radar. You didn't see it coming. But God, in His goodness, turned it all around. When you're in tough times, you can complain, talk about the problem. I can't believe this happened. Or you can say, Father, thank you that you're fighting my battles. Thank you that what was meant for harm, you're turning to my advantage. Thank you that you always cause me to triumph, that I'll come out of this better than I was before. That's prophesying victory. That's prophesying a breakthrough. Don't use your words to describe the situation. Use your words to change the situation. Well, I'll never get out of this problem. You're inviting defeat. I'm not that talented. You're inviting limitations. I'll never accomplish my dreams. I don't have the connections. You're inviting mediocrity. You need to send out some new invitations. You may be struggling with depression. Your report should be, this is only temporary. This is not who I am. I am free. I am happy. I have a bright future. The dream may look too big, but I know with God all things are possible. New doors are about to open. Good breaks are looking for me. Divine connections, the right people are headed my way. Paul said in Ephesians